Hi guys, welcome back to this last lesson of this dark navigation menu bar, where we're going to add in our additional UI elements such as our circles, our search field and our social icons. Straight away though, I want to sort out my layers palette. We left a few layers unnamed because I'm naughty, so I just want to organise that a little bit better, which is to do with our hover state here. So we've got two layers there, layer 1, layer 2. This is our back bit, so we'll call this glow. And the front one, we'll just name that front. And what we do, we'll group these together and then we'll call it hover state, and that way we've got our layers palette nice and organised and tidy. Select the bars group, and then we're going to select the ellipse tool, and I'm going to increase my document so I can see what I'm doing a bit better, and then I'm going to bring back my guides, Control H. If you haven't got your guides, then just drag out a few like this. It doesn't really matter, but okay. So with the ellipse tool selected, we're going to set the foreground to this dark grey. Just take off only web safe colours and just click the eyedropper tool just down here, so it's not quite black. And then we're going to drag out using shape layers on our options bar. And it's going to drag out a circle, holding down shift key, and then the space bar down, I can then shift that around and I can position that roughly central in between them two guides. Then I'm just going to give this an inner shadow, do that as 1, 0, 1, and then give it a drop shadow, turn the blend mode to normal, colour to white, and then bring the opacity down to about 20% and do that as 1, 0, 0. This gives that a nice little edge to that. Actually, I think I'll bring that down to about 15%. Okay, that, and then I might actually want to bring that inner colour, the inside, a little bit more. It's too dark basically, so it's going to double click onto my shape layer, my layers palette, and it's going to bring that up to up to dollar freeze. Then with my move tool selected, V on your keyboard, I'm going to hold down the Alt key and the Shift key, and I'm just going to click and drag that across and position it roughly there. And there's our circles done, just because it adds a little bit more subtle effects to the whole thing. Okay, so we're going to group these together. Actually rename them so we know what they are. This is right circle, this is left circle, and just group them together. Let's call them circles. Simple enough. Not F circles. So next up then will be to add in our search field. So with the bars group selected again, choose the rounded rectangle tool, make sure that radius is set to 6 pixels. Again, we'll choose that dark grey colour, we'll freeze. And then again, we'll increase our document so we can see what we're doing. And it's going to drag out a shape roughly like that, holding down the spacebar again so I can move it around. And we'll make sure we left enough room to the right for our button, our go button. So that looks pretty good to me. And I'm going to keep or use the same styles as our circles here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to open up my circles, and then I'm going to make sure that layer's active. I'm going to hold down my Alt key, and I'm going to click and drag the FX icon onto our search field. And that's given it the same layer size as that. I'm going to rename that as input, and then close off that group. Then I'm going to add my button. So with all the same settings left alone, I'm going to click and drag out my shape, and I'm going to drag it over the search field or the input field so we get this right height. Then use my space bar, it's going to move that across and position it roughly there. Then I want to drag out a guideline and then make sure I've got that positions exactly right. Yep. Move them out of the way. There you go. Control H, get rid of those. Then we're going to open the styles on our button. So right click on there, bring up our layer styles, and we're going to give us a gradient overlay. It's going to change the black to dark grey, and then top we'll leave to white. Okay, that. Then we're going to give us a stroke. Stroke's going to be 1, and we're going to change that to dark grey again. So we've got it looking, we can see at the top. Okay, that. And then we're going to give us a drop shadow, and we're going to turn off use global light, and then we're going to change that to 90 degrees, and I'm going to decrease that distance to 1, and I'm going to increase the size to 10. That way you give that a nice shadow right around the bottom and the middle. Okay, that, and it's going to shift it over slightly as well. Okay, then what I need to do is finish that up. Actually, I'll just rename this button, or search BTN, and just get just choose the horizontal type tool, variable, font size to 15. Just click and drag these two T's, 15, and then set the foreground to white, and in there type go. Ooh, in caps, and then position it, and position using the move tool, V on your keyboard. Then give us a drop shadow, open up layer styles on that, and we'll go to 101, and we'll turn the opacity down to 50%. And it just brings it out quite nicely. And then lastly, we need to add in our search text in here. So with the horizontal type tool again, turn off the caps lock, and I'll just put right in search. Ooh. Search ... And then let's position about right actually. Then turn the opacity of that down to about there. Actually we'll go down about 20. Now, so look at that from a distance, and what one might want to do is turn that search text down to pixel size. So open up your characters palette, and I'll just change that down to 12, and that's looking good. Lastly, what we need to do then is to add in our social icons. Now if you go to your web browser and type in iconfinder.com, and if you do a search for Twitter, you'll come across some nice icons, of course, loads of them. And there's one at the bottom here, these black ones. These LinkedIn and this Facebook are the two icons I used. So if you download one of those, say Facebook, click and download that, then that'll open up in Photoshop. So click that, open up in Photoshop. She blows, and then drag that into our design. Get rid of that, and then just position it at the top there. Make sure that's called, know what it is, Facebook, and then position this icon under the bars group. That's it. And then position that there. Then we do the same for the LinkedIn. Just quickly do that. And then position that in there. Now if you want to create your own icons, go ahead. I actually did that for the Twitter one, and all you need to do another search for Twitter. And that's this grey one here, this bird here. So if you download that, bring that into Photoshop, as she blows, bring that in to the design. And all we need to do then is to grab the rounded rectangle tool, radius set to 6, foreground, we'll leave that at the moment, and then we'll just drag that like so. Okay, position it exactly the same size as those. Save us resizing it down in a minute. There you go. Okay, bring that back over here. Find our bird. Position it over there. I'm just increase my document again. Control T on the keyboard. Just going to bring that down. Oh, it's probably a bit too small. Okay, that. Push that over the top of that so we can see it. Then bring up the last tiles on this. And then give it a colour overlay of white. We'll do an off-white. And okay that. Then just bring that over. Select them both and bring that over to there. And there we go. There is our social icons. And there is our nice navigation bar. Of course we want to rename these. I just want to merge these together. Our Twitter. And call this Twitter icon. And this one is LinkedIn. And then Facebook. Group them together. Call them social. And there you have our navigation bar. So of course you want to start thinking about what you can add to this. If you want, you could go back to right at the beginning of this course where I added my logo here. We could do a logo in the middle, and then you can also add some things in between the buttons here, perhaps some dots. So there's loads of little things you can think of. That's looking pretty good. So I hope you enjoyed this part of the course, and we'll see you in the next one where we'll be creating our light image slider. So thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the next part.